What's up, YouTube? It's Elijah the Hero, and today we got a new video, a new Gotham Knights video showing off the history of Gotham. I don't know. I haven't really watched this. I haven't watched this video. I've seen like bits and pieces of it on Twitter, so I waited to watch it with you guys and react to it live. So we're gonna see what that's about. I apologize for the mess over here. I think I'm going to rearrange my collection in my shelf. I don't know, think about getting rid of the Star Wars stuff because there's not that much of it. And I feel like I should put like Marvel stuff up there. I got Star Wars right there, kind of like a Spider-Man section right there, and DC up there, and then the rest is anime, Dragon Ball arcs. I feel like I should just keep that Marvel. I just feel like it's weird having a third kind of like genre. Oh, and then I got the video game characters right there. You can't really see them, but I added Shadow the Hedgehog. But yeah, sorry for the mess. That's not what we're here for today, though. We're here to see what IGN got to say about the new Gotham Knights trailer. So we're gonna watch that, get into it, see what it's hitting for. It didn't work when I hit the keyboard. That's embarrassing.
In the 1650s, 5 families left Europe, eventually landing on the rain-swept islands that pepper the mouth of what would one day be called Gotham River. Those families, the Waynes, the Cobblepots, the Elliots, the Arkhams, and the Kanes, would build a colonial fort.
Kane? Isn't that Scarecrow's last name? Is he rich? I don't know. Does he come from a wealthy family? I don't know if he comes from a wealthy family. I don't know too much about him. I can't think of Scarecrow's first name either. What is his first name? I don't know. But yeah, let me know in the comment section. Is he rich? Because I always thought that he came from like an abusive household and that's how he got that whole fear motif going on. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if he's rich or not.
Together and sow the seeds of centuries of dominance in the area. Gotham City was born. The city quickly spread beyond its original bounds, developing 5 boroughs, and in each, one of those 5 founding families would take root. In the early days, the Kanes established themselves on Gotham's natural harbour, now known as Historic Gotham, tying the family to their new country's military might, building ships and weapons of war. By the 1850s, Gotham had become a major trade hub, helped along by the industrialist Cobblepots and their smoke-belching Southside steel mills. Gotham continued to transform over time. In the 1920s, the Elliots took hold of the 20th century's newest means of control, mass media, and built downtown Gotham in a new Art Deco image. By the 1960s, Gotham had truly become a patchwork of industry and architecture. The Arkhams settled in North Gotham, building their famous asylum. Yes, it's in the game, and no, it's not as you've previously seen.
Arkham Asylum.
The Waynes, meanwhile, built their billions in New Gotham, helping advance the town into a new technological age. Which brings us to the present day, and the Gotham you'll be exploring as Batman's protégés in Gotham Knights, an open world as soaked in history as it is by neon light and vigilante-friendly shadow. Warner Brothers Games Montreal created that history early in production.
That Robin suit fire.
For a whole new version of Gotham City.
That's
and
a cool
it isn't
suit.
merely window dressing. The timeline informs everything from the plot, to the gameplay, to the game's biggest mystery, the Court of Owls conspiracy. The team didn't just build an open world to play in, it's truly trying to build a city.
The IGN first.
Key to this take on Gotham are the...
That's a nice sized map there. The Arkham Asylum right there. That's the Penguin. I don't know who that black man is. I don't know who that older lady is. Oh, and then they kind of blurred something out right here. I wonder what that is. Challenges, gear, abilities, database, email, map. That must be like an owl mission, basically Court of Owls mission. It seems like they got time trials for your bikes, like races and stuff like that. Probably like AR missions. The Belfry. I wonder if these are fast travel points. I'm guessing. I don't know what that is. Oh, that looks like I think that's feet and wings. Maybe that might be a parkour, like a glider thing. A loot box, maybe. A high level enemy. Looks like one of those trucks that Red Hood was fighting in his trailer. I don't know what that means, and I don't know what that means. I was like, that's a bat symbol. Might be like a side mission or something. Pretty decently sized map. I'm not gonna lie, it looks nice. Is that Arkham Asylum or is this Arkham Asylum? One of these got to be.
those 5 boroughs and the worldview of the families that historically controlled them.
So for us, the 5 boroughs, it started with the families. The families moved there, they built imposing structures within those districts. So then we build around that to where the identity for those districts really is based off of that family.
Within those boroughs, the team tries to tell stories without simply having someone speak them out loud.
Oh, that's cool.
If you visit a city in
World
real
building.
life, it's hard to tell some of that history. So because we're making a game, really what we want to do is kind of obviously reveal some of that stuff. So there's a lot of areas that are kind of stuck in time, like even something as, kind of generic as construction, like it becomes interesting when it's halted construction, or it's now abandoned and overgrown, or it's ruined.
This man Robin just walked in a bar and just beat it,
more
start
interesting for the player
sleeping people.
than, just a modern city.
They ain't got no security at the bar.
We tried to have a lot of those areas where it's almost stuck in time, so the player can really experience.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I've been wondering what they're gonna do with the Predator missions or like stealth kind of things. It seems like you don't have like the detective vision like you did in the Arkham games. It seems like a burst, kind of like the eagle vision in Assassin's Creed, like the later Assassin's Creed games. Not the one where you actually like turn into the eagle and you look above. Like I think like Assassin's Creed Syndicate, you had like this burst, like it was a certain area, like a 5-meter radius from you, and you could see what was there, and it like eventually goes away. But that's basically what this seems like to me. Or it seems like he kind of like hacked into electronics, maybe, because there's like different beams going away from this one box. So maybe he hacked into the electronics. But it seems like you have like kind of like a grid system right here. Like if you walk in that, it's probably going to alert all these guys over here. You have a mine right here. You could see people through the. I don't know if you can see them through the wall. Guess you can start seeing them through the wall. Yeah, you can, because I think there's a guy right here, or that's maybe graffiti. Oh, there's a guy right there though. So yeah, you can see through the wall. You have like these gas canisters where you probably can like throw a batarang, blow that dude up, he'll fly. It seems like there's a camera right here. So yeah, you got your Predator missions in this game. That's pretty cool. I want them to go through like a deep dive of the stealth in the game, because I feel like they showed us so much action in the combat. I'm ready to see like a full stealth level, which probably will come up sooner or later. But this got me thinking too, like seeing all this Robin gameplay. You can play Gotham Knights with one character all the way through from start to finish. So like, Nightwing's my favorite DC character, like I said in all these videos. I can play with Nightwing all the way through the game, right? And like decide if I want to and be like, oh, I want to be Batgirl. Like I wonder if there's like cost progression throughout the characters. I don't know if they stated that or not. I'm pretty sure they did, and I'm pretty sure there is. But just reiterating that they should have cross progression with each character, and maybe like their gear levels and stuff like that. And it got me thinking, like, how is stealth gonna work in co-op? Is it gonna be kind of like the Batman Arkham Origins game kind of stealth? Like you have to communicate. And that also makes me wish, like, if the game is co-op, I wish like you can bring another Gotham Knight character with you on missions. Like I could have Barbara and Dick with me on the mission. Or I could be Barbara and I can have Dick come along too. And, I can give him commands to like take some dude out, kind of like in Arkham Knight when you were with another character. Like when Robin and Batman were together in like the, that pseudo bat cave that they were in and the Jokers took over. Something like that. Because it feels like a Nightwing game at the end of the day if I only play as Nightwing and only interact with the characters in the Belfry. So it feels like I'm playing a Nightwing game or a Robin game or a Batgirl game or a Red Hood game, depending on who you play as, if you play as that character throughout the whole game. So like, I guess that could encourage you to switch characters so it doesn't feel like you're playing a Nightwing game. It feels like you're playing a Gotham Knights game. But I think it would be cool if like you could have the characters actually join you on missions as like AI and stuff like that. They'll help out in fights. They'll help out in stealth encounters, things of that nature. But yeah, let's continue the video.
Experience what it was back then a little bit too, and see how the city evolved.
The team has historical and
That was
gameplay
cool.
basis for every new environment. Take the Cauldron. built into the Cobblepot's lower Gotham area.
We always would like to tell a story with every borough, and there's one specific one that is not necessarily related to the family, but is an effect of some of the projects that those families undertook, which was a mining operation that happened in a riverbed. So they decided to wall off two sides of a portion in the water, and they dredged it for mining operations. It would attract workers for the mining operation. It was low-cost housing. It remained like actually a slum.
The Cauldron's history is written into its walls, with tumble-down buildings and cramped, unplanned streets, all set in the shadow of the more prosperous districts around it. But all of this is a distinct gameplay choice too.
This spot is kind of like a transition area between the financial district and the south side. So we have like two very different themes, while being in a third theme that is very organic, has a complete different way for the player to navigate over. It's a lot more parkouring. So the player always has the choice to pick the best tool and the best navigation verb to be as efficient as possible. And with different neighborhoods that will give you different
Okay. In that borough area that he was just in, it kind of looked dead, like there's no life in the city. But right now, I see this guy walking right now. There's another lady walking over there. But, you know, in all the other Arkham games, there was always an excuse why there was not a lot of people in the city. Arkham Knight, you know, it was a terrorist threat with Scarecrow. They evacuated the city. Arkham Origins, there were assassins running around, so they couldn't, you know, be out in the city. People were hiding. And then you have Arkham Asylum, which took place at Arkham Asylum, so there really wouldn't be people there. And then Arkham City, which took place in a city prison, so kind of like Arkham Asylum, there wouldn't be any people there. But in this game, there's no such thing going on, and I know that because they said that during the daytime, you'll be in the Belfry talking to the other characters. So that means that this game takes place within a couple days at least, like 2 weeks at least, or maybe even less than that. I just know it's not all in one night like all the other Arkham games are. This takes place during a span of a couple days at least, being the least, you know. So there's like nobody really walking around. I do understand that, you know, they fight at nighttime and stuff like that, but if you ever been to a city, like I live in Arizona, and downtown Phoenix, there's always things going on. There's always a venue hosting something. There's always people walking around, college kids walking around, you know. There's always something going on up to like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. There's always people out and about. So with Gotham being kind of like a city where, you know, celebrities are, rich people are, you know, it's a poppin' town, I would expect to see more people on the street. Like, you know, not a crazy amount of people like, you know, in Spider-Man, there's like hella people on the street. But I'm expecting like, you know, like maybe like, I don't know, like 15, not even 15, like 7 people on the street, because I understand Gotham is a dangerous place. So I wouldn't want to be walking around Gotham past 8 o'clock. I wouldn't even live in Gotham, but hey, to each his own. But yeah, that I feel like the city is a little lifeless. Like there's only 1 car on the street right now. Maybe there should be like 2 or 3 cars on the street. I don't know. Maybe it's just like a slice of it right now, like an early kind of gameplay that they're showing, like a pre-build and not the current build. I don't know. We won't know until the final product. But as this first impression goes of the city and like the life of the city, it doesn't seem all that fulfilled with life. It seems lifeless. But let's get back into it. Oh, before we do that, I do not like how he just spawned the bike like that. That seems kind of lazy. It's a nitpick, I know, but in Gotham Knights, which came out in like 2014, you would call the Batmobile and it come out of like the alley or come off of a different street, like it was actually parked somewhere, and you're calling it back to you. The AI would just drive back to you, but you're just going to spawn the bike like that? I don't know about that. That seems kind of lazy. Where is it coming from? How is it materializing? What kind of tech is that? I don't know. Anyway, that was nitpicky, but I don't like it.
Experiences.
This interplay of history and gameplay can be seen across the city. The once beautiful Robinson Park is a symbol of the city's decay, but it's also an open space where your usual stealth tactics may no longer work in the same way. The enormous Elliott Center is a literally gilded reminder of the family patriarch, complete with a museum exhibit about the family inside. And it's also a complex, multi-layered bit of vertical level design built to house the Mr. Freeze boss
that was good.
later in the game. And it's not just that timeline that counts as history here either. While this is a new take on Gotham, it includes many references to the comic books it's drawing from. Of course, there are buildings you'll know, right down to deep-cut references like Noonan's Sleazy Bar from Garth Ennis's Hitman series, but the very fabric of Gotham itself acts as an Easter egg in places. Perhaps most interesting is that this Gotham has a public history and a secret history. We already know the game will centre on the Court of Owls, a shadowy, manipulative group born of the founding families. Gotham itself will reflect that conspiratorial past too.
One of the things that we love about the Court of Owls, aside from the fact that, that it's a new, fresh addition to the Batman canon, is that they represent a threat that is so embedded and so intrinsic to Gotham City that even Batman doesn't know about it. And the notion of a threat that is so intimately tied to a city that he considers to be his city, that he knows like the back of his hand, that he's been patrolling for, literally decades at this point. That's a very intimidating and scary idea. With that in mind, what we knew is that we needed to give you a sense of Gotham's history in order to be able to show all the ways in which the court is embedded in that. That feeling that Gotham is kind of an adversary and that Court of Owls is the embodiment of that, the personification of it.
The phrase commonly used at the studio for this is that they didn't just build up, creating those hugely visible landmark buildings and stories for every new district, but that they also built down.
We started to imagine how the form of the city could be affected by that, and it started kind of helps suggest a geography, an urban geography to the city, going all the way back to like the late 1600s. And then we started to think, okay, well, what were the major events in history that they would have reacted to? Is it the Revolutionary War? Is it the kind of exploitation of the West, like the building of the railroads? Like all of these ideas became part of that conversation and allowed us to kind of build layers of accreted history. And we built it up and we built it down. Like we said, okay, what's buried under the city? Like what are the hidden secrets that you can find in the course of investigating the Court of Owls?
Naturally, the team isn't talking too much about what those buried secrets might be, but we see hints of it as we're shown Gotham's open world. A seemingly nondescript building might be a gang hideout, which leads to a tunnel system that brings you into an exit into Gotham that you would never have guessed at, for example.
We want the Court of Owls to feel like they're involved in everything. If you were to go to a major city in North America, like often they'll build a city on top of another one. Like Chicago, like they had the fire.
And they did the research
on top of it because it's not worth like rebuilding, destroying and rebuilding. So what the undergrounds allow us to do is kind of reveal that cross section of the city. So we have areas like that where you drop in, you keep going and you see things that you didn't know were there, that you didn't know the city was built on top of. And I think that's a really cool element. We try to allow the player to see kind of behind the scenes of the city, go under the surface, and as well as seeing it from up high from the bigger landmarks.
The result of all this work is that this take on Gotham aims to feel like a legitimate place, not just a sandbox for spandex crime fighting. We've heard before that this will be the largest Gotham ever made in game form, but that's not what the developers are proud of.
We made a very big Gotham City, but what I think is really unique to Gotham Knights is the density of it. Sometimes I will be searching for something or fighting a crime and not realize how close to me something else is happening that I'm going to want to interact with afterwards or before. There's just such a
that symbol before was organ trafficking
inside our city, and I think that that's really unique to Gotham Knights.
The idea of a Gotham packed with references, miniature histories, and sinister mysteries is alluring. After all, this is the promise of a town with real backstory, that it's not just the people living there who'll help tell the story, but the city itself. Gotham has been many things to many people. It's appeared in comics, movies, and gaming worlds. It's been reinvented repeatedly, traveling through time with us from block color 40s issues of Detective Comics to the grey monoliths of Christopher Nolan's trilogy. But all of those versions of Gotham have been snapshots of a city in its current form. Perhaps the most interesting thing about Gotham Knights' version is that we won't just see the city as it is, but hopefully learn what it's been.
Dang, that was deep.
We'll be covering Gotham Knights and offering exclusive...
Sheesh. That was a cold trailer. I like that one. I think that might be my favorite one they've done so far. That was a really good one. I'm going to say it, man. I think Gotham Knights is going to be a good game. Every time I see a trailer, it gets me more and more excited. This game is looking more and more better, more and more good, more and more crisp. Oof, it was looking like a good game, bro. You can just feel the love and passion that they have for this game, for this universe that they're building. All the history that's going into Gotham, the 5 families, the boroughs, the underground, the skyscrapers. It just feels like so much inspiration and so much history that they took and just put it into this game. You could feel the love and the passion. And that's, you know, why I feel separates it from Avengers. Avengers, I personally thought was an okay game when it came out, but I'm also a realist. It had a lot of problems. It seemed like it had no direction. There wasn't really any love in it. It was your typical looter, I guess, looter shooter kind of game. Like, you know, your Destiny, it felt like a live service game. They were trying to get that money for the game, you know what I'm saying? It seemed like a cash grab for them, you know? They just kind of thought, oh, we have the Marvel IP. We're going to put out a game that, you know, we can get money for, that's going to make money really popular. Avengers is a popular IP, and we're going to put an Avengers game out. You have the Avengers game, and then you have the Guardians of the Galaxy game they put out. Nothing but love into that Guardians of the Galaxy game. One of the best superhero games of all time. It was slept on. That's a sleeper hit. One of the best superhero games of all time. Guardians of the Galaxy is a really good game. And the reason why is because they put love and effort into it. And I'm not saying every game that has, you know, love, passion, and effort into it is going to come out good. Look at Cyberpunk 2099. Those developers definitely seem like love the game. They put it out too early. They should have kept delaying it until it was actually really good and really okay to put out. But that's besides the point. But yeah, this is a really good trailer. I can't wait for October to come, man. I'm really excited for this game. I just want to start playing it already. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, you know, tell me what you guys think of the trailer. Are you excited for Gotham Knights? And yeah, what do you think's gonna happen in the game? Check out my last video, which was a Spider-Man 3 video. That's a new weekly series that I'm gonna be doing. So yeah, check that out. And I've been Elijah the Hero. Peace. Thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Push the notification bell to be notified for new videos. And remember, have a great day.